think you're the only one going through it. You think you're the only one that messed up. You're the only one that stopped reading your Bible. When you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, when you can't see that ray of hope, then you want to do what? Quit. I'm Pastor Bill Krause. God has used me to help thousands of others. Now I want to help you break through. Hi, I'm Bill Krause with Breakthrough with Bill. I am so excited to have you with us. I want to connect with you. And my email is connect@billkrause.com. That's going to help us get to know each other, appreciate each other. I want to know how I can help you. I want to know how I can help you make your dreams come true. We love you. Enjoy the program. We're doing this for you. Okay, so open your Bibles to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 2. You need to give yourself for others. If you're going to walk in love, listen, it's all about give, give, give. Give, 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 give. If you ever want to know the ultimate of giving, look at a mother. That's something that many can relate to. The only thing is you can always tell a false mother. Would you like to know how to tell a false mother? Yeah. Because she puts the gift of the children that God gave her through her husband ahead of her husband. That's what we call fake mothering, because she's taking care of the gift but forgetting about the giver. Many Christians have done this, true or false. God gives you a new car, and now you got to go out, cruising on Sunday and can't get to church. He gives you a boat, and you got to be out on the water instead of at Sunday school or whatever. You understand? And again, there's no bad, but you see, love is for others, and God gives it to you, but you can't pick and choose. You cannot pick and choose. And again, make this statement. And again, I now have converts to this statement for the first time in my life in the last year, but it's because people got rid of selfishness. Yeah. You ready? Write this down, and you meditate on it day and night for the next 5 years, and it'll come to you. Now, you can get it in 5 minutes if you let it. Are you ready? Yeah. Ready? Yeah. Whoever you love the least is how much you love whoever you love the most. Lowest common denominator. Who do you dislike? Who are you uncomfortable with? Who do you not want to see? Who do you refuse to have time with? Who do you second rate in your life and then say, oh, but I love my spouse or I love my kids? But whoever you love the least or hate or dislike or whatever word you're comfortable with using, I'm using love the least. That is the height that you can go to loving the most, because love is across the board. You only act a different way with the people you say you love. But true love, God is love. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He loves us all the same, the pimp, the prostitute, the drug addict, the abuser, the rapist, come on, and the churchgoer, and the tither, and the non-tither, right? Is there no difference with God? And is God love? Then whoever you love the least is how much you love whoever you say is the most. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 2, and walk in love as Christ also has loved us. How did Christ love you? Unconditionally. Before you were saved, he loved you. When you were saved and quit coming to church, he loved you. When you were saved and turned your church attendance from 3 times a week to 1 time a week, he still loved you. When you tithed or didn't tithe, he still loved you. No matter what. There's nothing that can change love. That's why the devil is constantly trying to get you out of love, because when you're out of love, you're out of God. Did you listen what the lady said on the platform today? She said there was an individual. They said, yeah, but do you always have to forgive? There's nothing that you're allowed to not forgive. There's nothing that you are allowed, oh, you get a pass for that. That was mean enough, cruel enough, bad enough, terrible enough that you don't have to forgive. No. What were you forgiven for? Everything. Everything you were forgiven for. And walk in love as Christ also has loved us and given himself for us. So what do we need to be doing? What does love do? Gives itself. What does a mother do nonstop? Come on, help me out. She gives, she gives, she gives. She gives in the middle of the night. She gives in the morning. She gives before she goes to bed. She gives in the middle of the night, the morning, day, come on, meals, laundry, wiping bottoms, cleaning up messes that are created, whether they come out of the child or around the child. And help me out here. That is giving of oneself. However, remember what I said, that if you can't love the giver of the gift, then you are falsifying to the gift, and that will explain to you the disruption you have with the gift and the giver. Help me, come on. No? Too convicting? No, come on, let's be honest. See, it creates a conflict in the relationship. Even me saying it stirs you up and you want to argue at some level because you're saying, wait a minute, that's not true. I have to take care of them. They can't take care of themselves. Listen, the kid's 27. And he's never going to be able to take care of himself. You've made him into a chumpster. Maybe deserving a dumpster. No, here, come on, open yourself up. Don't deny the truth that when you love God and then God gives you something and then you honor the something greater than God who gave you the something, then that's a false love. Is that true or false? Okay. Has given himself for us, offering and a sacrifice to God is a sweet-smelling aroma. Listen to me. You want to create a sweet-smelling aroma around you. Ever been around somebody that has body odor? Or maybe they're a garlic eater and have mouth odor? And we had someone went to the church for years that they ate so much garlic that if you got by them, you didn't have to get by their mouth. It came out their pores. It literally came out of their body because they ate so much garlic, keeping worms away. They said it kept worms away. I said, I don't have worms. Anyways, and walk in love. What? As Christ also loved us. So we cannot pick and choose that I love you because you're nice. Let me teach you on love. You ready? I'm teaching on love today. Everybody brace themselves. You want to know how you grow in love? Ornery people. You should be so grateful for those people that you thought were mean in your life. They're your greatest gift. You know how I've learned to walk in love? Not by the people who loved me, liked me, prayed for me, honored me, took me to dinner, had me to their house, took me on trips. That's not how you learn love. You know how you learn love? By the people who didn't do what they were called to do. The people that didn't do what they said they do. By the people who lied, cheated, stole. Come on, help me out here. That's when you learn love, because anybody can love somebody that's taking you out to dinner and talking nice to you and buying you gifts. And come on, help me out here. But it's the person that backs into your car and won't help pay for it. It's the person that drives across your lawn and doesn't want to think it's their fault. Come on, help me out. So give yourself for others. Love gives itself to others. Give, and it shall be given unto you. And here's what I want to tell you. Love does not expect return. Help me out. Is it not true that you've gotten very upset with this person? Come on, help me out. Because they what? Did not love you back. Help me out here. They did not respond how you thought you required. Help me out. Come on. I'm talking the truth here. Talking the truth. And you get mad at them, and guess what? I'm going to tell you something. Let me ask you a question. Isn't it true whoever you gave the most to really ended up treating you the worst? Come on. There's a bunch of heads nodding. Some of you are so mummified from the pain. But I'm just telling the truth, right? Because you give and you give and you give and you give. The people that leave the church, they leave and say, well, you know, there's no love here. That's the people you spent hours with and called on the phone and texted and emailed and visited and prayed for and sent 7 other people to pray for and took them groceries and helped them with this and helped them with that. And they said, but there's no love here. No, there's no, you know what? There's love everywhere I ever go. Well, I can see. There's love everywhere I ever go. Would you like to know why? Because God's in me. I'm walking in love. Therefore, love is there. Even in the midst of the pain and the killing and the lying and the stealing, and no matter what is going on, love is there. And God is everywhere anyways. All right, love as I loved you. This is, what does love do? What love does is it loves like it was loved. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. That's a commandment. That's not a suggestion. See, there's people in the room, on the internet, in your house, watching with the video with you, or should be watching the video with you, or whatever, that you love one another. That's a commandment. Love one another as I what? Loved you. Do you know how God loved you? He loved you when you read the Bible. He loved you when you didn't read the Bible. He loved you when you gave, and he loved you when you stole. He loved you when you lied, and he loved you when you told the truth. How often did he love you? Always. When did he ever stop loving you? Never. For the person that's not born again, doesn't give their life to Jesus Christ, believes in some other entity or strength or ability or themselves, if you are not born again, you're going to hell. And when you're in hell, God's going to say, I knew you not. Don't blame God. It's not that he doesn't love them. Would a loving God send someone to hell if they didn't go by what he said? Yes. That you love one another. As I what have loved you, I have to love you like God loved me. No choice. Help me out. Come on. Isn't that horrible? Come on, let's admit it. That stinks. You want to love like you were loved. Help me out. Not like I was loved. I was loved by God. I was forgiven. You know what I was forgiven by God of? Everything. Isn't it amazing that some of the holiest people you know don't forgive because it was so hard, crushed, you don't know what they said. They did it publicly. They did it privately. It don't matter how you do it. You're not in love. That you loved one another as I have loved you. What? That you also love one another. How am I supposed to love you? Like Christ loved me. How did he love me? Completely, totally. Died on the cross for me. Gave of himself for me. What am I supposed to do for you? Some bad news. Ready for the bad news? What are you supposed to do for me? You're supposed to love me just, well, I wasn't loved and I was hurt. And listen to me. We're talking about love as God loved. Let's go to the next one. Put on love. You got to put on love. Colossians chapter 3. Verse 14, but above all these things, put on love. How many things? Doesn't matter. Pick anything out of the Bible. Pick anything out of your tool bag. Pick anything out of your chemistry, your ability, your family, your love, your good, your bad, your ugly. But above all these things, put on love, which is what? The bond of perfection. What's going to bring us together? Love. Because guess what? You don't like my blue buttons on my white shirt. Somebody else does, but you don't. That's okay. Love me. Amen. Because I'm stuck with the shirt now. I paid so much money for it, I've got to wear it. Put on love. Above all these things, put on love, which is the bond of perfection. How about this? I title, Allow Her. Are you ready? I told you I was going to rock your world. You ready? Yeah. Husbands. You ready, husbands? Love your wives, which means those of you that have 2 or 3, you're doing a great job. Just as Christ also loved the church. Here's my demonstration. You ready? If we don't go any further, let's go this far. Ready? This is the throne of Jesus. Jesus is seated at the throne. But you're out wandering around and you're not in his life. So then if Jesus is not on the throne of your life, who's on the throne? You. Somebody said me. Thank you very much. There's always at least one honest person in a group. So there I am. I was sitting on the throne of my life and I became born again. Everybody get this? Yeah. So when I got off, what happened? Jesus, and then husband, love your wife, just as Christ also loved the church. What did Christ do for the church? He died for us. Right? And you know, that's where we get hung up, and that's where a lot of people will say, if you love me, you die for me. Because I love you, I want to die. Because you're making life so horrible, but I'm going to stay in love. So here's what happens. Listen to me. Listen to me. I now am sitting on the throne. You know, Jesus is sitting on the throne. But husbands, I have to love my wife like Christ loves the church. Everybody got it? Yep. Who was on the throne before Christ in my life? I was. You were, I was. I was sitting on a throne, true or false? Yep. And then I had to get off the throne. When did God start loving you? Always. Right? He loved you always? As long as my wife wants to stay on the throne, I have to be like Christ and back off and allow her to do whatever she's going to do. Which most, come on guys. Right? This is how you're loving your wife, and she's still complaining. Now, I'm not picking on anybody, but until she gets off the throne, I cannot get on the throne. I didn't hear you. Jesus always loved you, and I love my wife, but I cannot do for my wife in any area. She will not allow me because she's a free moral agent just like I was and just like you were. So husbands, love your wife like Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. And I have to lay my life down every day and let my wife in any action, decision, whatever she chooses, to remain on the throne of her life and love her and never jerk her off the chair or the throne, even though I know by the Spirit of God, I'm not just talking about my male, whatever, problems. I'm talking about, I know she knows that I have the right answer, but she wants to stay on the throne. What do I have to do? I have to allow her, a little different approach. Is it true or false? I have to love you like Christ loved the church. And I have to love you like you are and accept the fact that you are a free moral agent, just like I was when God allowed me to be the jerk of my life. I'm not talking that any woman was ever a jerk, but I was the jerk. I, Bill Krause, was the jerk of my life, making my own decisions. I was my own king. I did everything on my own. Other than what, my coach or my parents or a teacher said. I made my own decisions. But when I became born again, I asked God what to wear. I asked God how to drive. I asked God, which way to drive. I have multiple ways to come from my house to the church and go to the airport and different things. I asked God where to go, what time. Somebody was just saying to me, you're good at dates, give me the dates. I look at a calendar, God gives me the dates. They believe I'm good at it, so I guess their faith makes it work even if mine's not. Right. Who's here? Tell me I'm making some sense to you. Can you see where he has not got any right? Does it not? What does it say in the book of Genesis? Anybody ever read it besides me? Yeah. What does it say? And she shall desire the man's position. Is it not true for all of us? Do we not desire God's position? Do we not, even as born-again believers, not want to stay in love, walk in love, but we want to decide for our own self when I go to the mall, what I buy, what I do with my money, what I give? We don't ask God what to give. We say, well, this is what I'm willing to give. No, and it is as each man chooses, but each man should choose to obey God. Husbands, love your wives, and I love my wife. And she can do anything she wants. She can spend anything she wants, go anywhere she wants, do anything she wants, give anything she wants. Why? Because that's what the Lord told me to do. And she does. I love my wife just like Christ loved the church, and I do not try to demand or expect anything from her. I'm not trying to say she doesn't do all these wonderful things for me. Don't misinterpret. But I am saying that I do not demand any of those things any more than Jesus demands that I read my Bible, or demands that I give, or demands that I pray. Come on, help me out here, because it's a choice. Is it a choice? And I love my wife like Christ loves the church. And sometimes I know this is hard to believe, but I do have a right way. Because I'm a guy. All the women should have said amen, come on, You even say if a guy like Pastor Krause, he seems to love God and seems to invest some things into the kingdom. My husband likes to sit on a couch, likes to sit on the dock of the bay watching the ships roll in, you know. So if his wife, anyways. Helping anybody? Allow her. Okay, in the spirit, out of the flesh, Galatians 5:16. I say then, walk in the spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of this flesh. Walk in the spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of this flesh. Whoa! See, I don't even want to say it. Some of you love living in it. Do what you want to do. Go where you want to go. I feel like it. Feels good. Hello. See, I say then, I'm going to get through this. Galatians 5:16. I say then, walk in the spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. But if you get out of the spirit, they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, and they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. So you have to walk in the spirit to not fulfill the lusts of the flesh. Now we ask ourselves, how many of us are walking in the spirit? Or we get sidetracked because our neighbor drove on our lawn, or dinged our door, or yelled at our kids, or didn't bring us breakfast, or wouldn't share their pie. You smelled the pie baking, but they wouldn't bring a slice over. See, come on, whatever it is, it doesn't take much. How love walks. How does love walk? 2 John chapter 6. This is love. What is, okay, ready? This is love. You ready? In case you were wondering, this is love. That we walk according to his commandments. We walk according to what? His commandments. Not my commandments. Come on, again, I want to get on the throne, and I want to sit down, and I want to give my commandments. Rub my feet. Bring me a strawberry frappuccino. Who am I? No, live according to his commandments. I have to think of the others. This is the commandment. This, you see, he said, walk according to the commandments. Then he says, he puts it all here together in a nutshell, love. This is the commandment. Whoa! That as you have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. Come on, you know what to do. You know when you got mad it was wrong. You know when you didn't give it was wrong. You know when you didn't take out the trash or whatever somebody asked you in your household that it wasn't a sin to do. You just didn't feel like doing it. Who's hearing me? See, because you know from the beginning. Remember when you were a sinner, you weren't even born again. You even then knew. You knew it was wrong. You knew when you were in the back seat of the car or the front seat of the car or in the hotel or wherever you were with that boy or that girl. I'm telling you what, you knew it was wrong. You knew it was wrong, but you deadened your senses. Yeah. You didn't walk according to the commandments. How love walks. Ready? Born of God. If you're born of God, you love. That's 1 John chapter 4, verse 7. Beloved, I'm talking to you now. Beloved, let us love one another. I love you. For love is of God. Do you understand that if you're not born again, you cannot love? Amen. Let me say that again. All these people, I love you, baby, I love you, but they're not even born again? If you don't know my God, you don't know. God is love. And if you don't know love, how can you say you love somebody? My favorite story, we just talked about it recently, and one of my beloved grandchildren said to me, I said, hey, would you like some shrimp? And they said, I don't eat shrimp. I said, why? They said, I don't like it. I said, how many times have you had shrimp? They said, never. I said, wait a minute, you don't like shrimp, but you've never had shrimp, and you refuse to have shrimp, to try shrimp, because you don't like shrimp. You see, how can you tell me if shrimp's good or bad? And I'm not here to debate any biblical things about, bottom dwellers or anything like that. I'm just talking to you now. How can you, would you not receive them as a shrimp specialist? You're not going to accept them. How can you accept someone who's not born again, who has never met love, has never tasted love, has never proclaimed love, has never been any part of love, and now you're going to receive their I love you? Can't happen. Not for me. Now you can be a shrimp specialist, never have had it. But see, if a man doesn't know God, then he's not met him. And if he's not met him, he's not followed the hunger that's in his heart. Beloved, let us love one another. For love is of God, and everyone who loves is... Wait a minute. Everyone who loves is what? Come on, help. Say it a little louder. Let's say it one more time. Everyone who loves is what? And knows God. If you're not born of God, born again, and know God, you cannot love. Everyone who loves, if you do love, you are born of God. And you can't just be born of God, but you have to know God. Because the truth of it is the majority of people watching me right now, and the majority of people listening to me, live, and the majority of the people that will listen to this message somewhere down the road are born of God. But do you know Him? Oh, see, do you know Him? See, I'm Pastor Bill Krause. I'm standing before you. Do you know me? Yes. Oh, yeah, I know you. No, you don't. See, beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone who loves is born. If you love, who said this? God. If you love, you're born of God, and you know God. How much more? Matthew 5:44. This is, again, one of my favorite verses. And I like to tell this when I go to, when I travel and speak in other countries and other congregations. I always like to bring this up as why you should pray for your pastor and do these things for your pastor. Because, or your parents. You should do this. This is honorable. This is love. This is the right thing to do. But this is the verse. Jesus speaking says, but I say to you, I'm saying this to each one of you, love your enemies. Now, wait a minute. If you got to love your enemies, then you should love your spouse. And if you love your enemies, you should love your kids. And if you love your enemies, then you should love your boss. And you should, come on, you should be loving everybody in your life if you're loving your enemies. Bill Krause here with Breakthrough with Bill. What a great program that was. I want you just to meditate and just run that over and over. Go through your notes. Go back and watch it online. This is a great opportunity. We love you. We want you to connect with us at connect@billkrause.com. We've got plenty of resources and materials to help you. We've got social media. Connect with us. Share with us. Tell us. Let us know how you've been touched. Tell us what part of that message struck a chord in your life. Tell us what we can do to help you be more like Christ.
Have you ever been frustrated with having the same data in multiple places? Are you tired of searching through Excel spreadsheets for information you need? Are you looking for an easy way to help your team manage your organization's data? Introducing PBID Manager, software designed to simplify your life, give you less stress, eliminate multiple spreadsheets, and put all your data in one place. Let us help you and your team remove the frustration of data management and get back to focusing on what matters most for your organization. PBID Manager. Request your demo today.